Hi, it's Natasha with soldbynat.com here, and today I am with Mr. Kevin Jefferson, the People's Lender. Woo-hoo. So we are going to ask a lender today. Okay, so speaking of that, so when somebody says, I want to buy a house, I get a lot of people that contact me and they're like, okay, I'm ready to buy. And then we talk about financing because lenders are the major key. Like, we work as a team.
Right.
Like, I need the numbers guy, Kevin, to give me that pre-approval to say, okay, we are good to go. And then I start working with you to find that house. So that's where I then point them to a lender.
Right.
What should they expect when contacting a lender?
So what they should expect from me is for me to ask them before I even send them to my online application to take any information from them. I always ask them a series of questions. My series of questions I start with, have you been working consistently for the last 24 months? It gets misconstrued because you hear 2 years. And yes, 2 years is 24 months.
Okay.
But if a person's on a seasonal job and they're off 3 months at a time, we still have to piece together 24 months of work history in that same industry.
Okay.
So that's why I always premise 24 months versus 2 years.
Okay.
The next question I ask is, have you been foreclosed on or had bankruptcy in the last 7 years? Because that makes a huge difference in whether you can qualify.
Okay.
If they've had bankruptcy and they say yes, then my next question to them is, was their home included? Because if the home's included, the time period we have to wait is a little bit longer than if there wasn't a home included. Yep, it is.
Okay.
Once I've got those questions answered, I ask them when's the last time they've taken a look at their credit score. And typically 8 out of 10 people say I've looked at Credit Sesame or Credit Karma or My FICO, and I always explain to them that the score is going to be different than what we see. And I give them an example of, if they apply for a mortgage today, a car and a credit card, and they had all 3 credit bureaus pulled from all 3 industries, all the scores are going to be different because we each have our own algorithm that we use.
Okay.
So whenever someone gives me a credit score, I always let them know there's a potential that my score is going to be different. So if you have a 650 and I call you back and say, hey, Mr. Smith, your score is 620, your score didn't drop 30 points. Because that's what I get. My score dropped 30 points because you pulled it. No, that's not the way it works. So I tried to let them know up front the score was never the same. And then they get a better understanding of that. Because a lot of those programs use Vantage score versus FICO.
Okay. And
Vantage scores are typically always higher because it's a different algorithm. FICO is typically on the lower side. And it's different. My score will be different than what you pull from my FICO. So it's a lot to the credit that people don't understand in terms of the scoring model.
And that's why I refer people to lenders. Like, I'm a realtor. There is no way that I could stay abreast of all the information that you have and the changes that you have to stay abreast of. So that's why it's so important that we work as a team.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else? So we talked about work history. We talked about their bankruptcies or foreclosures. We talked about credit. What else?
Then once we get to that point, and we understand that they have or have not been foreclosed or bankruptcies, they've been on their job consistently, they can show a 24-month work history, whether it's just that job or another one similar, we can piece all that together. Then I send them the link to my online application.
Okay.
The online application that asks for the basic information, name, phone number, social security, current address if you've been there for less than 2 years, current employer, and email address. So we can e-consent them, meaning we can send them documents electronically during the course of the process.
Okay.
Once we get that, then and I look at the credit and I see what the score is, then I give them a game plan. If they have the score, then I ask them for a series of documents. If they don't, I don't just say, Mr. Smith, you can't qualify. I say, hey, Mr. Smith, this is where we're at. You have a 580 credit score. While we can do 580, I think it's more indicative for you to try to increase your score and I put something in my what if simulator to show what you could do to increase your score, and it's just a matter of paying down on your credit card debt,
Wow.
and that will increase your score.
Awesome, Kevin. Thank you so much. Like this, you shared more than I could have even asked for. This was great. I know you guys found it beneficial. And make sure you check out Kevin. Kevin, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook under Kevin Jefferson Mortgages. You can find me on Instagram at The People's Lender. You can also find me on YouTube under Kevin Jefferson, The People's Lender. And I can be found on LinkedIn under Kevin Jefferson Mortgages.
Awesome. Guys, please go and show Kevin some love. He is so knowledgeable, as you can see. Like, thank you for watching. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Like, you have to give this video a thumbs up. We shared some great information today.
Awesome.
So I know it helped you on your journey. Guys, thanks for watching. Again, please subscribe and have a positive, peaceful, and productive day.
Thank you.
Bye.